Tonight, in your dreams, try to read a sign. Find a page, a clock, a street name, anything with words on it. Look closely. The letter will be there, you'll feel sure of it. But the moment you focus, they'll twist, they'll rearrange themselves, they'll melt into nonsense or shift the instant you look away and look back. You will be holding a book in your hands and find you cannot read a single line of it. The same is true for clocks. Glance at one in a dream, and the numbers swim, change, refuse to hold still. You have done this thousands of nights, and you have almost never noticed. But the real answer is far stranger than blurry dream vision. The fact that you cannot read in your dreams is not a flaw in the dream. It is a clue, a loose thread that, when you pull on it, unravels the entire mystery of what a dream actually is. Which parts of your brain go quiet when you sleep, and how your waking mind is held together by something so fragile, it falls apart the moment you close your eyes. And once you understand why the words won't hold still, you will understand something unsettling about reading itself, even when you're wide awake. Let's start with what's actually happening in your sleeping brain. When you dream, your brain is not switched off. Far from it. During the stage of sleep where most vivid dreaming happens, called REM sleep, for the rapid eye movements that flicker beneath your closed lids, your brain is roaring with activity. In some regions, it is nearly as active as when you're awake. But, and this is the crucial part, it is not active everywhere. Sleep does not dim the whole brain evenly like a single light switch. It is more like a building at night, where some offices blaze with light and others sit in total darkness. And the pattern of which rooms go dark is the secret to the whole thing. One of the rooms that goes dark is a region near the front of your brain called the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Don't worry about the name. What matters is the job. This region is the seat of your logic, your planning, your critical self-awareness, your ability to hold something steady in your mind and examine it. It is the part of you that notices when something doesn't make sense. And during REM sleep, it is dramatically suppressed. It goes quiet. The lights go out. Now think about what reading actually requires. It feels effortless, but it is one of the most demanding things your brain ever does. Reading is not a single act. It is a tight collaboration between the visual system that recognizes the shapes of letters, the language centers that turn those shapes into sounds and meanings, and crucially, that front region of the brain that holds it all together, keeps the letters stable, checks that the words make sense, and lets you reread a line when you lose the thread. Reading depends on stability and on self-monitoring. It needs a part of your brain that can lock the symbols in place and say, yes, that still says the same thing it said a second ago. But in a dream, that part is offline. So when you look at a word in a dream, your sleeping brain tries to generate the experience of text, but it has no real page in front of it, no actual light hitting your retina, no stable external symbols to lock onto. It is improvising the whole scene from the inside. And without the prefrontal cortex doing its job, there is nothing to hold the improvisation still. The letters are being generated fresh, moment to moment, by a brain that cannot check its own work. So they drift, they rearrange. The instant you look away, the dream forgets what it wrote. And when you look back, it invents something new. You are trying to read a page that is being rewritten constantly by an author who cannot remember the previous sentence. This is also why dreams are so bizarre and why you so rarely question them. That same quiet prefrontal region is the part that, while you're awake, would say, wait, this doesn't make sense. In a dream, it's asleep, so you accept the impossible without blinking. You're flying. Of course you are. You're late for an exam in a class you never took, in a building that is also somehow your childhood home. Sure, the critical faculty that would object is simply not at its desk. The neuroscientist Alan Hobson spent much of his career studying exactly this, mapping how the shifting chemistry of the sleeping brain produces the strange, uncritical, hallucinatory logic of dreams. The dreaming brain, he argued, is in a fundamentally different chemical state, one tilted away from the careful self-monitoring of waking thought. And here is where the loose thread really starts to unravel, because this fact that you can't read in dreams has become a tool. People who practice what's called lucid dreaming, the art of becoming aware that you are dreaming while still inside the dream, use reading as a reality check. The method is simple.
Throughout the day, you look at text, look away, and look back, and ask yourself, is this stable? Did it change? In waking life, it never changes. The words stay put. But if you build this habit, eventually, you'll do it inside a dream. Glance at a sign, look away, look back, and watch the words morph into something else. And in that instant, you realize the truth. You're dreaming. The instability of dream text becomes a doorway into knowing you're asleep. Researchers like Stephen LaBerge at Stanford did pioneering work demonstrating that lucid dreaming is real and can be deliberately trained, turning the dreamer into a conscious explorer of their own sleeping mind. But let's go deeper, because the strangest part is not about dreams at all. It's about you, right now, reading this. You feel as though reading is simple, as though the words are just sitting on the page, stable and obvious, and you are merely receiving them. But the dream reveals the lie in that feeling. Reading is not passive reception. It is active construction. Every time you read, your brain is doing enormous, invisible work, holding letters steady, predicting what comes next, suppressing the 1,000 ways the symbols could be misread, monitoring itself constantly to keep meaning from dissolving. The reason the words on this page are holding still for you right now is not that they are inherently stable. It is that a specific, fragile part of your brain is working hard, this very second, to keep them that way. In a dreams, you get to see what your visual world looks like, without that worker on duty. Chaos, drift, meaning that won't hold. Consider what this implies. The solidity of your entire waking reality, the way the world stays put, the way a clock keeps the same time when you glance back at it, the way a face remains the same face, depends on networks of self-monitoring that you never notice and never think. They are running constantly, holding the scenery in place. The dream is simply what happens when they clock out for the night. It is not that the dream world is broken. It is that the dream shows you the raw material of experience, perception, without the editor, vision, without the fact checker. So tonight, when you sleep, you may dream. And somewhere in that dream, there may be a sign, a page, a glowing clock. If you have read this, a small part of you might remember to look. And when the letter refuses to hold still, when they twist and crawl and rearrange before your eyes, you'll know exactly what you're seeing. You're watching your own mind improvise reality without the part that keeps it honest.
You came here wondering why you can't read in your dreams. But the real answer was never about the dreams. It was about the astonishing, invisible effort it takes to read in waking life, the silent machinery that holds every letter, every clock, every solid, certain thing in place. You can read these words right now only because some quiet part of your brain is refusing, this very second, to let them move. And the moment it rests, so will the words. That is the deal you never knew you'd made. Reality holds still only as long as something inside you insists that it must.